Hello, everyone. I'm David. I'm a TI, and I'm here with Marco. And he's been brave enough to come out and tell us a story. He thinks he's been targeted since birth, but overtly since he was 18. And boy, I just told him, man, they're starting young, and it's just don't make sense why they're doing all this stuff. So anyway, what has your life been like with your targeting since you've noticed it?
Since I've noticed it, I've lost friends and I've lost like certain jobs because they're doing the workplace mobbing. But I would say I cut off my friends. They didn't exactly cut me off because they were doing the gang stalking, they were doing the directed conversation and all that. And so before I used to have a lot of friends. I used to not exactly be the class clown, but like among my group, I used to be like the jokester. I used to always go out, be pretty social and stuff. And then now I'm pretty much isolated. I just live with one family member. I just work and stay home.
Right. Because it does no good to go out. You just get stalked and harassed, right?
Yep, yep.
Yeah. So when you say workplace mob, and like I went through that stuff where they would make me do the hard. I wasn't supposed to do a job for but one round at a chicken plant. They made me do it. It was popping bones. Anybody knows chicken plant popping bones is a hard job. So you're only supposed to do it per OSHA for one round. They would make me do it 3 rounds. They would laugh at me, always try to write me up. Is that what they kind of do to you?
Yep, things like that. Like with you, like when I was 18, one of my first jobs, it was at like a dog food plant and I already had noticed I was being targeted and there was a guy I was working with in a certain area. The guy was mean and like he was just mean to everybody, but he was started telling me to go to this other area to help some lady and I remember the first time he told her something. I don't know what he told her, and then she wouldn't help me. Like she would just stand there and it was tough. Like it was a job, you need somebody to help you. And then I just walked out because I knew they were trying to screw me over.
Right. So, when did you notice the stalking, and could you share some experiences?
Um, Honestly, I had noticed some signs like growing up because I want to say it was on my mom's side because my mom is half white, half Mexican, right? And the white part of my family is here in Kansas, and they have actually Freemason connection, and there's some masonry in there. And like my grandmother, my mom's mom was the one on the white side, got with a Mexican guy, that's my grandfather. But the parents never accepted him, and they never accepted my mom. They like treated her bad. Like I want to say he's racist. And then my dad, he's from Honduras. He came here in the 80s. And I want to say there's a connection there too, because he was in the Navy during that Iran-Contra
Yeah.
scandal. Yeah, and the CIA was all over that. So, but we were talking about workplace mobbing, right?
Yeah.
Or
No, I asked you to about stalking just to
oh
describe
yeah,
some several instances of your stalk. So now I see why you're targeted. Is that why well, I think I see why you're targeted. They think,
yeah. I want to say that's what started it, but then kind of later on, like as I was growing up, I kind of got into like conspiracies and stuff and started finding out the truth, and I would start making Facebook posts trying to tell people the truth, telling my friends, and that's when it really like I want to say they started targeting me more. And like when I
oh,
was
oh,
18, I'd be getting the street theater. I was followed by cars. I'd be like in the mall with some friends, and there'd be a guy, like some guy sitting and staring, and I remember pointing it out. My friends were like, "Yeah, we see that guy and everything," and then it just kept increasing from there. And then my friends got involved. I never thought that was gonna happen. But
yeah.
yeah,
That's a hurt when your friends get involved.
oh, yeah,
So did you do you think that your parents might have been targeted too?
yeah, yeah. Because growing up, my mom would tell me stories about like she wasn't like abused bad, but like how her mom would be like mean to her, like do mess up stuff to her, and then she was never accepted by my grandparents. And then another thing I want to say that made it worse is that she had sued a meat plant that's here in town and got money out of it. And I think that's another reason that they would targeted her more. And then she had a surgery like back in 2004 where the doctor left a sponge in her and she took that to court and won money from that as well. and he's like a
Wow.
known doctor in town, so I could
Yeah.
see I could see that being a reason too.
Yeah. Because my targeting ramped up 20, well, 100 times worse when I sued the chicken plant I sued. So, yeah.
Mm.
So lawsuits will get you targeted. Yeah.
Yep.
Because they want to make your life hell where, where you don't even pay. What they did to me when I sued the chicken plant. Man, they targeted me so hard I ended up homeless. Couldn't keep up with my lawyer because I was always on the go from. I'm talking about hard stalking. So yeah, I understand that completely. Um,
Yeah.
so do you know? I mean, do you have any specific street theater things you could remember?
Yeah. Let me think right now. So they're always like I'll be at home and there'll be a car like with a loud engine just like going by. There'll be people walking by and they'll stop in front of the house, like look at their phone or look at the house. There's people like I have video, I have a YouTube channel too. I just haven't
Okay.
been yeah. I just
Well, hey,
haven't
at the end of it, at the end of this thing, I'll get it from you and we can put it in the
yeah.
description so people can look for it.
Yeah, because I have most of that type of evidence on there. They'll be doing colors all the time. Like I work for specifically this job I have, I've been there for a year. But in my first year last year, I noticed like around this time or like holiday season and stuff, they'll wear like a lot of red and black or blue and black. And then I started because I work with a relative right now that they know about the targeting and they got my back for the most part. And so I'll tell them everything I'm seeing at work because they can't see and I notice all this stuff. And when I started pointing out the colors, then all of a sudden like they would start matching my colors. So I go to work wearing a whatever color and then I'll see like oh the way you know is it's not just one or two people, like a whole bunch of coworkers like all matching my color and like they've been doing that for months or like the directed conversation and things
When
like
you say
that.
directed conversation, do you mean like they'll be having conversation with somebody and be talking about stuff about your life that they no way nobody knows?
Yeah, that or to me, like I'll be talking to somebody in the middle of the conversation, I'm a believer. I'm a believer in the Bible and all that, and I read the Bible pretty often. And that they'll like we're not even talking about the Bible, and they'll just bring it up like to mock God or something. Like that's another one they like to do.
Right. Yeah. It's getting harder and harder for Christians. They're just people are keeping it under wraps. I know. I think from what I've understood, they're killing Christians in Syria right now. Syria's following the president who was protecting the Christians has left and went to Russia, and they're killing Christians, but they're not talking about it. So,
Yeah.
um,
There's kind of
go ahead.
another. Do you know anything about Albert Pike?
Oh yeah, yeah. Hold on, don't tell me. Morals and Dogma.
Yep, yep. But like,
Yeah, he
yeah, I'm
wrote
pretty
that
sure
book.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what's happening. Like all this stuff, like in World War III and all that, is pretty much exactly how he mapped it out and stuff.
Oh yeah, because he talked about the first two and he got it exactly right. And the third one, yeah. I just hope I hope his plan for the third one don't come
Yeah,
true.
I know.
Also, I'm gonna stop and say something real quick. Don't fall for this drone, unidentified flying stuff. That's Project Bluebeam. Don't fall for it. You know what
Mm.
I'm talking about, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
They're
But
trying to
I've been
push, they're getting ready to push it, if you notice.
push what?
Project Bluebeam. If you
Oh
look at
yeah,
the news,
yeah,
they're putting all these unidentified things. They're saying there's aliens in the ocean, all that stuff. If I encourage my viewers to look up Project Bluebeam. I've got a video of you scroll down and through my videos about Project Bluebeam. Don't fall for it.
yeah,
So when you get the street theater and stuff, do you have do you just try to ignore it, not let it
yeah.
bother you?
I try my best to ignore it because there's been times in the past where I let it get to me, and I try going either in car like chasing the guy or something, and then it's just like I mean I'm glad nothing ever happened, but. If there was like a cop around, they see me like speeding this and that, I get pulled over, it would have ended up bad. But I just try to ignore it for the most part.
So sometimes you react and try to chase them and stuff, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's not a good idea, but I already know how it is.
I want to say though, I'm in those times they're kind of influencing me with the the V2K and like the frequencies and stuff. Because sometimes I'll be trying everything. I'll be like, I'll exercise, I'll multitask, everything, and then it still gets you like,
Yeah. Do they sleep deprive you?
uh, not too often. To be honest, I wouldn't recommend all TIs. It works for me, but I use cannabis here and there, so I don't have too much sleep problems. But I would say the last time I know for sure is when I was gonna have an interview for the job I have now, and it's out of town, and I could not sleep at all that whole night. I only got 2 hours of sleep. I was sweating and all that. I know for sure that was the last time I was sleep deprived.
Right. Have they ever put you to sleep?
No, like where you just suddenly pass out.
Yeah, like there's a, well, I was reading about it yesterday too. There's a weapon they have that will put you to sleep. And when, if you're fixing to chill with somebody or do something important, they'll put you some targets they put to sleep.
Actually,
So,
that may have happened to me before, but
yeah,
before I
like when me and my girl might be getting ready to do something, like watch a movie or something, they'll put one of us instantly in drowsy as soon as the movie comes on.
oh, actually, that happens to me sometimes reading the Bible. Actually, out of all things, like I'll be reading the Bible and all of a sudden I'm like sleepy, and I wasn't before. So yeah,
Right.
it does happen.
Do you have a favorite Bible verse or anything that you use, a favorite prayer? Like mine is Psalms 91. It's very powerful, and then Psalms 109.
I want to say Psalms 22 and Psalms 27 for sure. And I've been reading the Psalms a lot lately. It helps. It really does.
Right. Can you hold? I'm gonna pause this just for a second. Yeah, because I noticed in 2015 when I was going through a lot of my stuff, I would say Psalms out loud, and I said Psalm 91 out loud so much I learned it. So I know I can say it by heart. I was just wondering if you had any special verses or special kind of prayers that you use to keep yourself protected.
For sure, yeah. Not any specific, but I like going to the Psalms and like, because they're basically prayers, so if you don't know
Yeah,
what,
and it's been said that there's 4 chapters in a row in the Bible where David was stalked by Saul. And
yeah,
people say gang stalked and organized stalked when back then, and I kind of believe that. And he wrote all them Psalms on the run.
mm,
So
yeah.
that's why I really believe they're powerful.
Oh, yeah.
Do you experience any direct energy attacks?
Uh, would that be like kind of like when they make your body heat up and stuff like that and like
Yeah,
sweating? Yeah, I do. I think I
like
did yesterday.
nonstop sweating profusely.
Yep, yep.
And you have any health problems from uh have they ever told you anything about your thyroid?
No,
Okay.
I don't really see the doctor too often though anyway, so I
Oh, all
won't.
right. I just noticed a lot of targets. Your thyroid absorbs radiation. So these weapons, like I got thyroid problems. Holly had her thyroid removed. I've just been talking to a lot of targets lately that's had thyroid problems.
That's in the neck, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
And there's actually stuff you can get, material that you can get to wear around it to protect it.
Oh, really?
So with your V2K, could you kind of describe it? Like mine mocks me. It might be laughter. It might be a girl's voice, some girl I knew's voice, or my sister's voice. But
I would say
it ain't
I
got to
don't.
be voices. It can be inner thoughts.
Yeah, it's more like inner thoughts because I don't exactly hear voices, but I can assume like if it is voices, what they would be saying, but based on how it's making me feel. And a lot of times it's like right before I want to work out, I'm just getting hit hard, and then it's like, and as soon as I start working out, it goes away. Like they just want to prevent that. You know what I mean?
How bad is your stalking? Like if you were to leave the house now, would it be pretty bad?
Oh yeah, there's a specific neighbor like down here that he'll be on my case. Like not every time, but it's like he knows if I'm about to leave or something, and I'll see him, and then he'll either cut me off, or if he's driving in front of me going real slow, and then I'll see like one headlighters, I'll see like a mobbing where it's just like there's not really a lot of traffic at this time. All of a sudden, there's just a bunch of traffic.
Feels like the paparazzi kind of, huh? Sometimes.
Yeah, man.
Huh.
It's annoying.
So, so you are, so at 18 when you were looking up conspiracy theories and stuff like that, is that how you found out you were a TI?
Well, honestly, I want to say that's not how, but there's a certain thing that I did that I think that made it that way. Because I had a few other friends that we kind of all got into conspiracy because we were teenagers. This was like 2010, 11, 12, like around that time there was like a big like the truth movement now, but that's kind of like when it like started and there'd be videos that would go in deep and like now they get censored quick. But like we were just being dumb, like we're kind of artistic, so we were in a classroom. It was I want to say like a world history class, but that specific teacher would always do like hand signs and like say like these certain things. And since we were like doing research, we'd be like, oh, like he said that, he said this. Like we learned about that, doing research. And then we decided we're gonna do something kind of dumb, and we opened the books, the classroom books, and we were drawing stuff in the back. And like my friend drew like the triangle with the eye, the Illuminati thing, and he put like the circle like that, like anti-Illuminati stuff.
Yeah.
And then the teacher, like we did it kind of like without them seeing and then like try to get away with it, but the teacher knew, and like the next day, the teacher would just be giving me the dirty looks, and like I knew he was on my case. Like it seemed like me more. I don't know about the other two, but later on, I think they became perps. But that's pretty much when it started. Like the overt harassment, it started in the school actually. They started
Right.
doing directed conversation to me in front of my classmates and all kinds of stuff.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I really think, that could, I've talked to thousands, well, not thousands, but hundreds of people that said that, they went down a rabbit hole and they're targeted for that, because they're watching everything you do on the internet. Um, do you remember in, by chance the Jade Helm videos?
Yup.
Yeah,
2015.
I
Yeah.
was in Jade Helm. That's when my direct energy weapon, I was researching Jade Helm really tough. And I was in Springfield, Missouri, and that's when my V2K and direct energy weapon started.
Oh yeah.
And they made me walk in a straight line. My mind controlled me to walk in this straight line, and I felt like if I stepped off this straight line, so I'm somewhere like where traffic is passing, and I'm walking in this straight line, and if, and I really believe that if I step off this line, I'm going to blow up. Like they were doing all kinds of mind stuff because Jade Helm, it got really misrepresented because it was really a thing to see test their weapons, their AI weapons. See, a lot of
I
people
heard
think it was a
that.
martial law thing. It was kind of, but it was kind of like a weapons testing thing too. The AI system, the supercomputer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was back when Walmarts were closing and everybody was saying that about Walmart. You remember that?
Yup. And then the whole thing about that they're gonna turn the Walmarts into like FEMA camps and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah,
That
I
that that
remember
used to
that.
scare me. That one got me.
Yeah. Yeah, they won't let them videos out no more, will they?
Uh,
Um, so have you ever experienced a honeypot? Have you ever sent a girl in your life or somebody to get close to you?
oh yeah, I would say multiple, but I want to say also before I really knew, there was probably some honeypots that I didn't know though at that time.
Right.
But there's been recent ones like at my job that I'm at right now that there's been a few, and it's crazy because one of them is not even from this country. Like there's a lot of immigrants. Like it's kind of by Kansas City where I'm working at, and there's like a lot of people from Haiti and like some people from Algeria, and they were trying to get me to fight over an Algerian girl with a coworker, and they were using the V2K, all that. And what's crazy is they made me feel like from middle school, like that puppy first love, like like they were making me feel all of that. And I'm like, that's crazy
Right.
because I was even feeling amazing, and then but I realized it was all to try and get me to talk to this girl who was actually married. So really, it was just to set me up to make me look stupid. But
Yeah, because anything could have happened if you would have messed with her and she's married.
oh yeah.
Because if you notice in the background, have they ever tried to get you to kill yourself?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
But what I'm saying is, that could have been a setup to get you to talk to that girl, and then that girl's husband might kill, you know what I'm saying?
yeah. And
Have they
what's
ever
weird about that, what's weird
go
about that
ahead.
is like 2 weeks before I even met her, because she had been working there for some months. And like sometimes if somebody's not exactly good at what they do, they move them to other areas. And she's not exactly the best at where she's at. And this was like she's been there 5 months, and this is the first time they put her with me to work with me. And but 2 weeks before that, I swear like I saw her in a dream because there was some girl in my dream. I was like laying with her in my bed. I'm like, I know this is a manipulated dream. And then I didn't know who it was. I just remembered like how they look. And then that next week when I go to work and I see her and she looks at me and she makes a smile, like, but not a good smile, like a kind of like a guilty smile. And then I was like, that's the one in my dream. That was her. Because when I saw her face, I recognized right away. And
Right.
so that was kind of weird. Like I don't know how they do that. If it was really her, or they made me like hallucinate that she was in my dream.
Oh yeah, they can manipulate dreams.
Hmm.
Um, so how do you deal with your isolation? Like pass your time as a target, get through each day.
Honestly, I stay like I said, since I was younger, I just been researching. I stay researching like constantly, and then I have multiple hobbies like I would exercise, just do chores, whatever. I have a guitar I play. I used to like before the targeting got bad, I was into like writing raps and freestyle. I used to even like I had a friend that would play guitar, like rhythms, and I would freestyle to it. I kind of haven't been doing it too much lately because they discouraged me big time with that, and like they even used my friends against me with that. They would try to like if we were gonna meet people, it'd be like, oh, he doesn't know how to rap like I do, and like try to like take my talents, make me look like
Right.
I'm not the one good at that or something, you know.
Kind of talk down and make you try to believe that you're not no good.
Yep. And then so like pretty much, I just stay busy with whatever hobbies I got, you know. And I
And
do
they
my
ever
own,
go ahead.
sorry, I do like my own work on my car because I get the mobbing with mechanics. So sometimes if there's something I want to do, like that's something I'll stay busy with.
Oh yeah, that's the best way to do it is change your own oil.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Because another thing, if you're a TI and you go get your oil changed, make them show you the filter when they take it off, the oil filter. Because a lot of times what they'll do, they'll just drain the oil, put new oil in there, and they won't change the filter.
Yeah.
So you got to take, I can do my own work on cars. I just need a floor jack. But I'm like you, you got to do your own cars or they'll get sabotaged.
Now is
Have you
it
ever
so bad?
sabotaged a car of yours?
Um, they've slashed tires before, and then
Wow.
like at my last job, I would park it in front of like the main road, but they had their own parking lot. I stopped parking there because there'd be like, you know how your side mirror can move? They'd move it in, or like my mirror would be all messed up. I'd have to readjust it, but it looked like somebody got some scraping thing, and in the very front bumper, there's like scrapes of the paint chipped out. So they were doing stuff like that, man.
Have you ever experienced your devices being hacked or anything like that?
And actually, yep. By the way, one of my friends before cut them all off, he's actually a friend I've known since I was in first grade, which is weird because I think he was not a handler, but in my targeting, he was like kind of like a handler. Because growing up, there was things he'd tell me that we're kids, like I don't know how he'd know that, or no kid should know that. Like I think another part of my targeting is here in Kansas where I'm at, there's a lot of Freemasons and satanic and witchcraft. And so, but that friend, as we're older and I'm finding out about the gang stalking, he tells me about hacking because he was one of the people that I've known him since first grade, and I started noticing weird stuff. Or like he'd be telling me stuff that'd be like, there's no way you'd know unless you were watching me. And then he's the first person I really confronted and asked, like, and got deep and like, and since I've known him for a while, he started giving me answers, and he didn't. incriminate himself or tell names, but he basically told me that he knows how to hack phones and he would teach people how. And he told me about something called like script and code, some other stuff, and then he didn't want to tell me everything, but he told me he's like, I basically told you enough that you could figure out how to hack phones if you wanted to. So yeah, I
Right.
definitely experienced that.
And oh yeah, I was targeted in Iowa in 2015. I know you've been to Iowa probably if you lived in Kansas, hadn't you?
I have actually.
Yeah. And I noticed I was in the park at night in Iowa in Des Moines, downtown Des Moines, and that's when they had Pokemon Go. I
Oh
really
yeah.
believe some targets were hooked up to Pokemon Go because they had my phone because they this girl came up and said Michael, and I said Michael. I said that's my middle name. I said why are you coming up to me? She said I found you. You're on Pokemon Go app. I said no, I ain't never had no Pokemon Go. So come to find out, and I need to really refresh myself on this, but Pokemon Go was used to build some kind of GPS system. So they used the app to get everybody to play to test out some kind of
Yeah.
thing. But I really,
Remember?
I never to this day I don't know how I got on Pokemon Go, but I was a target at the time. So
Yeah, I remember when that thing came out. I was already, watching these conspiracy videos, and I was hearing that same thing that like don't get Pokemon Go. It's just gonna like put you more into the grid and all that or something.
yeah. Um. So do you experience remote neural monitoring or anything like that?
Would that be like if say I'm thinking something and then it's like as if the other person knows and they're acting on
Yeah.
like what up? That actually happened to me like this past week at work because I work on the weekends. Because I started seeing some of my coworkers like wearing the same color as me, and I saw it's not exactly my lead. They're called a door runner because like I'll be in trailers like loading them up with boxes and stuff, and then the door runner is kind of just telling you where to go, this and that. And I saw her with the same because she had a jacket on, she took it off, is like matching the exact same colors as me, and then in my mind I'm just like kind of like talking crap like you would be doing that like. Of course, and then she's all like looking at her phone, like reacting to my thoughts. It seemed, and then she comes around into the trailer I'm in, like just to say like, "Oh, I'm tired," like just for nothing, and like to go by, and it made me feel like she wanted to see if I was gonna tell it to her straight up what I was thinking, and that like I swear that's what it was happening.
Right. Or like we were in a Zoom call for TIs and um we were also looking on eBay on another computer. As soon as we logged into eBay, a target starts talking about eBay and stalking at eBay. I just don't believe that's a coincidence, As soon as we log into eBay, she starts talking about eBay. So needless to say, we never mess with her again. So
Yeah,
stuff like that.
yeah, you can't believe coincidences as a TI. It's
Mm-mm.
just not. It don't exist.
Um, have you ever thought of something, have been thinking of something, and then you turn on the TV and there's an ad for it? Like,
Yup,
yeah,
always.
not even talking about it. You're just thinking about it a lot during the day, and you're like, man, I want to get that or something. Then you'll turn on the
Yup.
TV or your phone, and that's the first thing that pops up.
Yeah, that happens a lot.
Uh, so could you explain how you became isolated? You said you sort of isolated yourself.
Yeah, I honestly, it's not that anybody cut me off. I want to say that's kind of how my targeting was, that they wanted me to have the friends I had, but kind of in a way, because they're already going to be perps, but in a way to like keep track of me more or something. But
Right, that makes sense.
but I ended up just cutting all of them off because, and I've even called them out on the targeting. You know how everybody always denies it, but it's messed up because I've seen my own friends like at times like. Cause like I'm sober now, like other than the cannabis, like I said, but I used to drink and stuff, and there'd be times, you know how the truth comes out when you drink, and like some of my friends would either say things that would like give it away, or like I for no reason at all, they'd be crying, looking at me and be like, like you're a good person, man. Like where's this coming from, you know? And I just started, putting the dots together and ended up being like, you know what, all my friends are in on it. I'm just gonna cut them off.
Oh,
But the
so
way
you've experienced perps that kind of felt bad. You could tell they felt bad for
oh
doing what
yeah,
they're doing.
and it's actually kind of disturbing in a way because even recently at work, the way I do it is like I don't become aggressive. I just kind of ask like really deep questions, and I know how to get to them and stuff. To where either they'll just deny it, or you can just tell like they feel bad, and that's what's disturbing to me about it is if they feel bad, like how powerful are the people running it to make all these people do it against their own morals? You know, it's kind of messed up.
Yeah, I've never thought of it that way. Yeah, I don't know if you've heard me say this before, but I was in New Orleans and they got this place called the Rebuild Center and they give shoes away, good shoes,
Hmm.
on every Thursday at 2 o'clock. I mean, no, at like 8 or 9 in the morning. So anyway, I get in line to get shoes, and the dude comes up to me and he whispers in my ear. He said, "Come back when nobody's here, and I'll give you a brand new pair of New Balances." He said, "I cannot give you nothing while anybody's here." So I went back, and he's like, "Here, dude, don't tell nobody you got them from me. A brand new pair of New Balances. You know I'm homeless, so I like that." So, but I've often wondered, what was he told? You know, it's just like I'm just glad
Yeah.
I got the shoes. Um, what would be like your one of the craziest things you experienced when you're targeted?
Uh, see, that's the thing. Like sometimes I can't think of it in the moment because there's just so many things. But honestly, I want to say like there was a time when it because another thing is since I kind of started young, I was still kind of out there. There was a time I was selling weed and doing this and that. It didn't help. Kind of made it easier to get to me. But at that time, there was some random guy like right at my room window and like just staring in there, and then like all this other stuff. Like I want to say things like that. And then there was
Wow.
what? Yeah, there was a guy walking down the alley, and I'm looking for my kitchen, and there's no way he was like inhuman because I'm looking at him and I think something like I wonder if he's a perp. And as immediately as I thought that, he turns around and looks straight at my house, like, and he's like 30
There's
feet
no
away
way
down
he
the.
could have known you were looking.
Yeah, things like that are probably the craziest. Where it's like, man, like, how the heck did you even know? You know?
Yeah. Yeah, I get a speaking of that street theater, I get a lot of street theater since I don't leave the house like you do, cars parked out front, or they'll pull up in the driveway, uh go out, get out of their car, go around to the passenger side on the other side, act like they're doing something, then they'll pop the trunk, act like they're doing something, then they'll go get in the car. And they don't have nothing in their hand, never took nothing out of the car. It was like just a show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, so what advice would you give to um new targeted individuals watching this?
For new ones, I would say try and figure out as much as possible as you can, and like look up YouTube videos, look at other targeted individuals, hear what everybody has to say because when you don't know, that's when it really gets you. Like if you don't know that you're being attacked by this and you think it's really you, like that's when people lose their mind. And it makes me wonder too, because sometimes I'll be watching those police videos. Like there's one channel called Police Activity, and then it's like the body cam footages of cops, and I'll notice like it's disturbing to see how many shootings there are, and it makes me wonder how many of them were targets and they just didn't know. And so I would say, the research, like try and figure out as much as possible. And the fact that everybody has a phone, like it's in your hand, like the internet, we can figure it out.
Right. Um, how do you how so I was just wondering, how do you cope? Like how would you tell people to cope, other TIs to cope?
Well, I read the Bible, and not every target is a Christian, but I would recommend it, even if you're not a Christian, even praying and stuff like those words, you're saying it to yourself basically, it's like confirmations. And also, I look out for my health big time. Like once I started doing more research, I watch everything I eat. Like I look at the ingredients, make sure it's good ingredients and everything organic, and then just stay up on your vitamins and stuff too. Like things like that help a lot. And
Right.
then exercise, just staying busy pretty much.
Yeah. And vitamins, we're the same way. Vitamins are very important because there's not any vitamins in American food. Um, or if there are, there are hardly any. And I was reading the other day, 60% of Americans have some kind of vitamin deficiency. And I had a B12 deficiency uh, back when I was in the hospital 45 days in 2022. And one of the main problems was the hospital said it was one of the worst B12 deficiencies they had ever seen. So just
Yeah.
your D being off, magnesium or your can make you feel fatigued, tired, and these weapons and this mind control stuff they do to your body drains your magnesium and all your vitamins. So
Yeah.
you're already not getting no vitamins from the food. Do you do
Hmm.
garlic or anything?
Yep. I've
I get
seen it
all
in some.
kinds of energy from garlic. Do you? Like if I
Yeah.
I, I crush garlic and eat like a clove and a half, I'll press, but you got to press it to get the allicin. It's got a chemical called allicin in it, or a substance, not a chemical.
Yep.
And if you press
Yeah,
it,
I know all about that. I do that like once or twice a day, but I also do a clove, if you know about that.
uh-uh. What
It's
is what?
like you're it's like a little
Oh, I know
they're
what
bread.
cloves are, but what's the
Yeah,
benefits from them?
it's like antiviral,
Oh, okay.
antibacterial. This and that. It helps like sinuses and all that. Helps clean. Like if you chew on it, I do it before brushing my teeth and stuff. That helps too.
Yeah, I notice, and they got me programmed where every time I close my eyes, I start getting shocks to the in my brain. My whole body starts vibrating, and I start heating up and stuff. So I started getting these aprotropic smart drops, and it's got lion's mane, reishi, cordyceps. I know you probably know about all that. Mushroom extract, and you put it under your tongue. And after a month of doing that, my vibrations, I still get vibrations, but it's not near as intense.
Well, what was it called? The
Well, you can get aprotropic smart drops, but or you can buy lion's mane mushroom extract, cordyceps mushroom extract, turkey tail. Turkey tail actually back 30 years before any medicine came out, they were using turkey tail to cure cancer.
oh
So
really?
yeah, so what it does is, and then also a lot of people that are in chemotherapy take turkey tail because what it does is the cells that have been damaged by radiation, it repairs the cells. It's a super it's a superfood.
Yeah, that's good.
Um, do you think this program's ever going to end?
Honestly, I think the only way it would is if people on the inside, like whistleblowers, came out and like because like I haven't talked to a lot of people about it, but the people I have confronted, it's like everybody's in denial, so or not in denial, but they won't admit it. And so it's gotta be like someone inside the government or like someone inside the program. Because it seems like all the people speaking out about it, it only does so much, it helps us, but it's not really any changes being made.
Right. Yeah, and these whistleblowers, me and Holly was talking about that. She said the same thing. That's the only way it's going to stop is somebody inside the program whistleblows and exposes it all. Uh,
That reminds me of one of the friends I used to have that was a perp. He would always say that because he would try and convince me that he's a target, but I wasn't convinced, and he would say like, I want to be that guy that defeats the enemy from within or this and that. And then there was even a time he's like, we're just waiting for you to join us and stuff, and I'm just like,
wow.
yeah,
So what is your YouTube name?
it's my name, Marco Correa, Corea.
Okay, so it's at Marco Korea.
Yeah, the no, actually,
If you send me the link in an email, I'm gonna put it in the description for people to see.
all right,
And I
yeah.
encourage you, man, keep making video. I encourage all targets to make their own YouTube channel because the more we get out and the more we're speaking out about it, some people's like, well, you're telling targets to do that and they're going to get targeted hard. Or, well, targets are going to get targeted hard regardless. That's the way
Yeah.
I see it. And, you know,
Yeah, I got so much clips and stuff from the past months. I just haven't had the motivation to make videos because they've just been like mobbing me at work, all this and that. I just put all my energy to try and keep my job and stay level-headed, so I haven't been making any videos.
right. Do you do any social media things at all? Are you into social media or do you leave that alone?
Kind of since the targeting stuff, I left it alone because I used to be on Facebook and like Instagram a bit, but then I got rid of it. I kind of don't. I'm just on YouTube pretty
Yeah, it's
much.
a lot of shields and trolls on Facebook and stuff. I'm in it, but if you want to, but the one way you can defeat this algorithm of YouTube banning TIs. All right, so I'm in like 40 TI groups on Facebook, right? So when I get done doing an interview or a video, this is how I got so many subscribers. All right, so when I get done doing a video back in the day, I would go in all these groups and post my link, and I kept doing it and doing it and doing it, and then so people start spreading the word and stuff. So that's the only way you can defeat the algorithm that I've figured out because they try to shadow ban TIs.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Is there anything else you would wanted to mention about your targeting before we stop?
There was one thing too, that I want to say was probably part of my targeting is like back in 2017, I was in a tech college doing a industrial engineering course, and one of the assignments we had to do was this personality test, and I took it. It's called like the Myers-Briggs personality test. There's 16 different ones, and then the one I got was it's called a INFJ, and I guess it's the rarest personality type in the world. And then after I took that test one day at school, I'm in like my lab doing my work, and then one of the counselors comes with some like intern lady, and they're looking at me, and the guy he says it like I'm an INFJ, but like talking about me, and they're just staring at me, and so I just want to throw that in there. If other targets know what kind of personality type is, maybe that's part of their targeting.
Wow, I wonder if you could. I wonder if it's possible to get it online and take it.
Yeah, it's free. You just go to 16 personality tests, and then you answer a bunch of questions, and it'll tell you. But
Wow,
you might have to pay to get like full results, but it'll tell you what personality type you are.
and that's what you did.
Yeah, but it was a school thing, so
Oh,
yeah.
so but there's no way that dude should know it, is it? That you are eyeing it.
Yeah, and then the way he was talking to that lady about it, it was kind of like saying it like, oh, like watch this one or something, like a little
Wow.
suspicious.
Wow, that is weird. I bet that freaked you out.
I mean, since I know already about all this, like, so that's another thing is why I say for targets to really learn about it because that's part of how I can handle so much of it just because I know. Because if you don't know, like, it's like you think it's you or something, or you think you got a problem.
Right. That's the only reason I made this YouTube channel is because, back in 2015, I didn't find out what was going on until 2018. So I'm thinking I'm going crazy. I'm like, man, there's no way these cars are, what's going on? And then I had
Right.
3 serious attempts on my life. So that's why I was in the hospital. I'm like, man, I'm fixing to make this YouTube channel and start letting people know what's going on. Because if I'd have known that I wasn't crazy and what was going on, I wouldn't have. I did my throat, wrist, blood transfusion both times. I mean, I was really messed up. And then I was in a coma 5 days from another attempt. So I was really trying to exit.
Yeah, I feel. Is one like in those attempts is do they ever like well, I know you don't go out now, but like when you're driving and there's somebody passing you and they like swerve to where you almost hit you, is that how they did it?
What?
Is that like the attempt that they had on your life? They try to
Oh,
like
no, no, I'm talking about
put you off
attempts
the
on my
road?
own.
Oh, okay.
Like I
Sorry.
went right in. You ain't gonna be able to see it on this, but I had 17 staples and stitches, and then 14 in my wrist, and then I took a bunch of medicine and But so I don't. That's another thing. I would never do that again. So I would never commit suicide, just for the record. Again, um, and another reason I wouldn't do it is because I've tried three serious times and failed every time. And so I don't encourage no target to do that. That's their ultimate goal. And I've even heard that the stalkers throw parties if somebody does it, that they're stalking.
You know what's so crazy about that is that I always felt that way, and I've heard something like that before, and just this past week, I kind of got into a confrontation with my coworkers, and I had said, so if I were to take my life or whatever, you're gonna throw a party, just to get to
Wow.
their head, see what they
Yeah.
say. Like I don't know if this is wrong, but I also had said like just because I want to get in their head and be like, I know that they're doing this and it's wrong, and I just tell them like, so how many targets have you seen take their life? And I just want to see like how, and I know it messes with them and stuff because like they're what they do is they'll harass you, right? And when you speak up about it, they want to like punish you, be like, oh, you can't, but they're the ones doing the crimes and stuff. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, is there anything else you wanted to mention?
Um, See, I had like a list of stuff, but
Oh, that's fine. We got time.
yeah, really, I just have like incidences and
You
I
want to
pretty
share a
much told
couple?
my story. Yeah, like recently, earlier this year, I went to California because on my dad's side, I have family over there. And then, like, for the targets, thinking that if you leave and it doesn't follow you, it does. Because I was seeing that, like, we went driving, so to California through Texas, through Oklahoma, all that, saw the mobbing and everything. And there was a time that the person I was with, we were gonna go to Albuquerque next, and we are just talking about it. And like 10 minutes later, we get a phone call from Albuquerque, and it's like, oh, so like over there in Albuquerque is bad. But I went to the Grand Canyon, and they were doing the harassment there. Like I went up, checked out, it's called South Rims, checked out some stuff, and then on the way back, all you hear is sirens going off, and then as we're getting closer to the entrance, you just start hearing cheering. It's like, what's going on? And then when we get finally down to like where this building is with the entrance, like all of the sirens are gone, no cheering, and then I just see the EMT driving away, looking at me, smiling, and I was like, what
Wow.
the heck?
Yeah, the
So
Grand Canyon, man's got some secrets in that. I've always wanted to go, where they don't let you go in the Grand Canyon.
mhm.
Did you know
It's
about
pretty
that
nice.
YouTuber that found something or some kind of cave and he went back and he promised his viewers he was going to
Yeah,
find it and then he ended up missing. Nobody knows what happened to him.
yeah, that was in Nevada, I think. I
Okay,
heard.
Nevada. All right, yeah.
Hmm.
I always wonder what it was. That really happened. That's no conspiracy. People can say what they want on that.
Oh yeah, that's a mystery right there.
Yeah.
But yeah, pretty much that's it. It's just like there's always something happening. There's always more street theater, more this and that. And then here and there, you confront them. And what I noticed is when I confronted them at work, you know what happened? The ladies, I'm taking this to the office, and you know what the managers did? All they did was praise me for being a good worker, this and that. Like, you need anything, this and that. And then that's all that happened. So it's like they'll do these crimes, right? And
Good
instead of
cop,
like,
bad cop.
yeah, instead of talking about it or this or that, they're just gonna try and calm me down, whatever, and hopefully I forget about it.
Right. Wow. Well, if you don't have nothing else, I guess we'll close. I really appreciate you coming out. Oh yeah, that's another thing. Any targets, try not to react to people or to the targeting. Oh yeah, have you ever tried like going about it like being nice to people even though they're stalking you?
Yup, I have like
Did you have any good results or no?
yeah, when I do that, I call it breadcrumbs where they give you little bits, but they don't actually admit anything or incriminate themselves. And I notice when you're kind of nice about it, they might do that. But like I said, the only one who admitted it was that one friend I had that I known since first grade, and I think it's just because he felt so bad and he knows me really well. So
Right. All right. Well, I really appreciate you coming out. And he's got a YouTube channel. I'm gonna put the link in the description. Make sure you check it out. He said he's got evidence from back in the day, and he's been too exhausted to upload clips, which is really I can relate to that very well. But anyway, man, thanks for coming out, and I'm gonna stop the recording and we can say our goodbyes.